It just seems like inevitable, like we're going to have a 𝗩𝗘𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗘ᗽ AI that just is ours. Hi, I'm Dave. Better is a coaching tool for growth-oriented people. You basically personalize a coach with your operating philosophy, your goals, your principles, your weaknesses, and then you talk to it about things that you're going through: adversity, procrastination, fear, motivation, anxiety, worry, and it helps you overcome these barriers and walk the path towards your best self, whatever that best self is that you've decided for yourself. Every once in a while, you get mentally stuck on something. Humans, we have this human condition where we're fallible to our own irrationality and sometimes to patterns of thoughts, and you need this other person to talk to. Now, I have friends that fulfill this need, but they're finite and they have their own agenda. I have family, but I can't burden family all the time. And when these LLMs came out, it was like, oh my God, like, this thing is infinite. It just runs on electricity, and it doesn't have its own agenda, and it's available 24/7, and you can load it with exactly what you want back from it. I understand the ideal version of myself. Doesn't act on fear, reflects on pain, has these certain principles, that it's always striving to improve, doesn't want to have like hindsight bias or these system one thinking fallacies and stuff. And I just need something that's there 24/7. When I get stuck somewhere, I can just bounce things off of it, and then it can just surprise me with stuff. When I coach myself, when the thought pops up and it's like, no, Dave, you shouldn't do that, it just doesn't work as well as when someone else gives it to you. Because when someone gives it to you, it fires this like novel neural circuit in your brain. You're just like, oh, I didn't think of that, and has so much more impact and power to snap you out of a thought pattern, a negative thought pattern inside of your brain. So I built a little POC with myself with ChatGPT at first, and it was like working really well for me personally. And then I started building it, and I was like, all you need is just slap on a little bit of memory and take care of the prompt engineering. And then it became a little bit more surprising as well. And then all these thoughts came out next out of it. It was just like, oh my God, like, let me get this in front of some other people. Everyone has some ideas. I was like, what if there's a listen only mode where you just type things out, and when you're not ready, it just doesn't respond, it just listens. And launched that, and some people are giving good feedback on it so far. It just seems like inevitable, like we're gonna have a 𝗩𝗘𝗧𝗨𝗥𝗘ᗽ AI that just is ours. Ideally, it doesn't live in the cloud, it lives on like a device. It's yours. It's just runs on electricity, and you design it how you want. It's your little daemon or wisp, and it helps you with the parts of you that are human and don't really bring you fulfillment and satisfaction, and don't help you kind of on that path. Now, I'm keeping it really open-ended here. I don't really know. I don't think any one person can tell everyone else what's their ideal version and stuff, but it's kind of a tool that empowers you to like design, like, hey, I want to do these things more, I want to do these things less, and then I just have this thing that exists with me and helps me. I think the most important thing to something like this is the privacy aspect to it. I talk about things that I don't want anyone else to see and stuff. I just don't really believe in that spying on people to improve a product. I just don't think it gets you anything really valuable at all. The eventual goal of this would be that if I get enough feedback about this, I can probably engineer a solution that is self-custodial. Right now, I'm just keeping it like growth mindset people, and away from anything medically related that it could potentially hurt people. I just want to stay away from that right now. But you can push it much further than you can a human coach. For example, my coach is like, he's a person. He has feelings, he has an ego. If he tells me something 2 times, I feel a little reluctant to say like, I don't get it, can you explain it to me a 3rd time? Because it's taking up time. And I also meet with him maybe once every 2 weeks, so it's like you have to save it. It's like if you ever go to therapy back in college. The therapist got me through a very tough period in time. The sessions, it was like, I remember it would be like 7 a.m. on Wednesday. So it's like I have all this stuff built up, but then when I wake up at like 6:30 on Wednesday and drive to the office at 7 a.m., my mind is blank. I can't talk about any of that stuff because it's a timing mismatch. With this, I have it available all the time. I tell it like something I would never tell a therapist or coach, or I'd just be like, I don't feel like it, and then see how it responds. Or like when it says like, well, you should do this, and I say, well, I think you're wrong. And then you kind of see how it works with that. When a coach tells you something, you just have to be like, yeah, coach, even if you don't get it. But with this, it's like, why are you saying that? And then sometimes it points it back out to some principle, or sometimes just calls you out on stuff. And that's kind of been the interesting stuff for me. I think that's a thread I'm like pulling on slowly, where I think that, this is different than anything I've ever experienced in human coaching. Maybe this is where the value lies, but we'll see. One one of the main principles I put into my Better Coach that I just wanted to always remind me of, because I feel like it's like I'm incapable of remembering. We are at every moment just kind of using up our time until the end of our lives, and it's like it's not about being morbid, but about constantly keeping in perspective that it's like, do I want to be doing this right in this single moment? Do I want to be wallowing on something bad that happened and stuff or not? And it's really like, it's so exhausting to tell yourself that and then also believe it and to do these kinds of things. Like, these operating philosophies I think are really important. Right now my biggest thing is just, I'm a one-man team and I'm trying to like do as much as I can, get as much feedback, iterate it, and then hopefully meet a co-founder who has the same vision as me and is compatible, and kind of take this thing forward.